reinforcement is one of the four main pillars that are there in ABA, the applied behavior analysis. You may have heard about applied behavior analysis as a very popular teaching method or an intervention approach that is used with children with autism most of the times, and also other special needs, related special needs. What happens in ABA is ABA is based on behavior therapy principles, and along with positive reinforcement, there are three more important pillars of it. So positive reinforcement being the first and foremost. The second one is like the reward and reinforcement or the positive reinforcement is the first one. The other is prompts, that is the help being provided to the child. The third one is shaping, and the other one is, the last one is the task analysis. So we can probably skip the other three. So combinedly, all these four are used in a good synchronization to teach particular behaviors to children with special needs, especially autism. So what happens is that with the help and the techniques from behavior therapy principles, there are specific goals set for the children, and with a very systematic plan, with a very systematic use of techniques from ABA, these goals are carried out and the teaching sessions are carried out. And in terms of learning, the child learns from a particular goal setting, different various life skills, starting from communication, socialization, and many other. So this is where it comes from. So a lot of terminologies are very commonly used in ABA that I'm going to use right now. So basically what happened was that behaviorism is a school of thought in psychology that came up in early 20th century. Okay, there were many behavioral psychologists. Watson was one of them. Skinner was another one. Thorndike, Pavlov, all these behavioral psychologists, they were very much into deriving principles from how animals behave or organisms behave in particular settings. So what they did was that they designed a particular series of experiments on animals mainly, to get an idea of how they learn in particular events, in particular situations, and how it can be applied to our day-to-day life, our learning. Okay, so Watson was, J.B. Watson was the first one who came up with this idea in 1928 that whatever principles that have been derived from the behavior, the experiments that were conducted, those could be applied to directly to infant care, child development, children with special needs, learning theories, and many more such aspects. So he came up with all these ideas. He wrote down many papers on it. So this was further taken along with the journey, and many other scientists, many other psychologists contributed in it. So these are a few experiments that I'm not going to talk very much into detail about it, but Pavlov's classical conditioning experiment was one of the benchmarks into behavioral therapy principles and all those other approaches that are based on behavior therapy. So what he did was he had actually produced food to a dog, and in a series of attempts, and before presenting food, he actually used to ring the bell. And later on, he removed food. He only rang the bell, and still a physiological response was seen from the dog that the salivation was happening. So let's get let's keep the details aside. What could be derived from this experiment was that the responses, even physiological responses, were linked to stimulus, and they could be paired. So probably something that would naturally bring a response, or naturally bring a physical response, probably some other item which can be paired with that original item, and that same item the other item can also bring the same response. So just just to give an idea that bell actually has nothing to do with the salivation, but still it got the same response. Okay, so responses can be linked to particular things or stimulus. Okay, Thorndike came in and he actually did the very famous cat experiment,
Tejashree,
in which the cat actually learns via trial and error. He presses the lid and the door opens, and he has the cat actually follows a particular, let's say, path. And over a period of time, the cat learns it to press the lever quickly. Okay, the less the time period, the quicker the cat will get to the food which is waiting outside. Okay, so stimulus again is going to be linked with response, and over a period of time the organism learns that certain behaviors, when we do something, when we do certain behaviors, certain pleasurable responses can occur. So that's what the learning happened by the cat, and this could be really directly applied into the principle.